Namaskar. Understanding Buddhi Yog. Buddhi Yog is the yoga of intellect. It draws from detaching oneself to the fruits or outcomes of one's actions. But how does one detach? Lord Krishna says it is possible through the science of work and by practicing discrimination with the intellect. Lots of heavy concepts, but let's take them one at a time. Human beings are an evolved species. Don't you agree? We are similar to animals or birds in the sense that we eat or sleep or defend ourselves just like they do. But we have something extra, our very own mind that allows us to think, make the right choices, and analyze the things around us. If we fail to make the most of this blessing and don't fulfill our goals, we might have ruined a good chance at something, isn't it? Lord Krishna now lets Arjun in on some secrets of the mind. He enlightens him of the concept of Buddhi Yoga. This is nothing but detaching oneself from the fruits of the action. To make it easy, let's take an example, shall we? Let's say you have a test at school, and now you're required to know some formulas, some key experiments in order to do well on the test. But what's your end goal in such a case? To secure superb marks or to understand the concept being tested? It could be this or something else altogether. But if you put your mind to one goal, say understanding the concept, you would actually do a better job. This is how your intellect works. If you focus on increasing your knowledge instead of scoring good marks, your intellect guides you and supports your decision. It's like an arrow released from a bow, and it's going to target this one focus you have. But if you have many expectations from your goal, then your mind is confused with all these mixtures of thoughts, and your intellect feels like there are many arrows shooting from the bow and none of them are going to hit the target now. The spirit of work. Lord Krishna highlights the spirit of work through this quote. You have a right to perform your prescribed duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your actions. Never consider yourself to be the cause of the results of your activities, nor be attached to inaction. In fact, this is quite popular with most people, and you may have heard them recite it sometime. This verse has four main aspects when speaking of the science of work. Do your duty, but don't concern yourself with the results. We have the right to perform our duties, and while doing so, we must not think about the outcome of our actions. That's because these outcomes not only depend on us, but on many other factors, like the efforts of other people, the place, the situation, the karmas, and maybe even a bit of luck. But if we keep thinking about the result, it will make us anxious. We'll keep thinking, am I doing a good job? Will the result be as I expect it to be? Will everything fall in place? Etc. Lord Krishna tells Arjun to not think this way. Instead, he should focus on doing a good job, giving his 100%, and doing the efforts based on his abilities. The fruits of your actions are not for your enjoyment. If my actions are not for my enjoyment, then who are they for? That's a good question. Well, Lord Krishna highlights by saying that these fruits are for the larger spirit, the energy that has created the world. One might say that this is for the God who is the master creator and the biggest soul of it all. Even while working, give up the pride of doership. You might ask, why shouldn't I be proud of the actions I perform? It's a valid question. But there's a reason that Lord Krishna tells Arjun. He says that our senses, the mind and the intellect, are all powerless by themselves. The energy that has created us all is the one that provides power to all our senses, mind and intellect. If that's the case, how can we feel pride for the things we do? Let's look at an example to understand this. When your teacher asks you to write something, you pick up your pencil. This pencil by itself cannot write. You have to use your fingers, you have to use your energy to scribble using the pencil. Can the pencil say, "Yes, I am proud to have helped you"? You laugh at your pencil. You will tell it that it was I was the one who made it possible for you to write, correct? That's true about humans and their actions too. Hence, we can't really claim to have done an awesome job when we're actually quite powerless. Don't be attached to inaction. Now, there are times when doing work seems like a hard job. All you want to do is relax, and you can hope that someone else does the job for you. But Lord Krishna advises Arjun to not think like this at all. No matter what the work is, tough or easy, good or bad, fun or confusing, you must do it because it is your duty. You cannot run away from it. Does yog mean yoga? Lord Krishna speaks of the concept of yog. Yog here means accepting the circumstances, whether good or bad, just as they are. Now we know that the results of everything that we do are not in our control. There are many other factors involved, correct? But we do have something that we can control, and those are our actions. We can always do a good job. We can always give our best. So let's do that instead. But you might argue and say, what if the result is bad or painful? What do I do then? Yes, you might feel disheartened by this turn of event. But hey, you need to accept it. That is what yoga is. Whatever the outcome, I accept. That's a lot of maturity, and it will take some time to come to terms with it. But you can do it. Let me give you an example. Say you're on your way to your best friend's birthday party. Now say that she stays a bit far away from you and there are so many traffic signals to cross before you can reach her home. It also seems to be your unlucky day because you have to stop at every junction that has a red light. If you start getting upset at every red light, by the time you reach your friend's house, you're going to be in a bad mood. That will make your friend unhappy, and you don't want to be a spoiled sport at her birthday party, do you? Best thing is to accept that we have to cross several red lights and that it might take some time. So I better just wait. Think about it this way. In case there was no control on the flow of traffic, you might have ended up hitting a car or a cyclist, and there would have been so much more commotion on the road. We would rather have discipline than suffer like this, right? So good things or bad, better be ready to take them in your stride. Arjun and his work. When speaking of work, Lord Krishna tells Arjun that there are two things about work. One is the activity of work itself, and the other is the attitude we have towards the work. Lord Krishna advises Arjun that while he works without expecting fruits of the work, he should also be highly internally motivated to make the most of this work. The action would have far-reaching effects if Arjun put all his energy into it and not think about the results of that work. Why do you think Lord Krishna advises Arjun to detach himself from the work? You might think that this detachment will not let me give 100% to the job at hand. But that's not true. According to Lord Krishna, attachment affects our performance. It can get us emotionally involved, such as feeling scared or nervous or even tense. But if we tell ourselves that this is our duty and the work is for a higher presence, for the creator of the universe, we are able to do a better job. Lord Krishna continues by saying that attachment to fruitive actions causes suffering. When we're trying to find love, we find disappointment. When we're looking for happiness, we find misery. The way to overcome this is to let go of the want for the results of our actions. Instead, he urges us to accept all that we receive as what the powerful Creator would want us to have. Attachment springs desire. Desire can lead to anger. Once you're angry, you are unable to reason and your intelligence cannot distinguish between right and wrong. What this leads to is unhappiness and loss of peace of mind. Treat pleasure or pain, gain or loss, victory or defeat alike, and you will find peace. Dhanyavad.